I studied economics in my undergraduate university, and so allow me to just approach this as a demand and supply problem. On the demand side, there has to be a demand for women leaders in companies, in the corporate, in the economy, and also in the political world. Yet we see that there isn't that. In the corporate world, we find that companies often measure all employees as if they were men. And men employees are very different in their performance and in their behavior than women. Consider that when a male employee sees a job opportunity, if he gets 30% of what is required for that job, he applies. Whereas for women, if they see a job opportunity, even if they have 70% of the qualifications, they feel that they don't have a good chance. If women are risk averse and men are risk prone in terms of seeking bigger opportunities, then companies should take that into account. But companies treat the behavior of male employees as the default behavior of all employees, and don't do enough to take into account that qualified women are not stepping forward and should be encouraged in a particular way, which is unfortunate for companies because all the studies that we've seen show that it's with increased diversity that companies do better. We see the similar research also when we study politics, people in politics. For example, Women Political Leaders does an annual survey called the Retrovic Index on Leadership, which they do with Cantor. And they, in this study, are able to show that people actually have a default perception that that leadership is male. And so if there's a default perception that leadership is male, they're not going to be thinking of women when they think of leaders. And if they had to choose between male and female candidates, well, they may not even notice the qualities and the qualifications of the female candidates and just default and choose the male candidate. So laws, again, would make a difference. And we've seen this because in that same study, they researched in depth 2 countries in Africa, Kenya and Nigeria, and found that Nigeria is actually more progressive in the perception of leadership as being both male and female. And yet Kenya has over 20% of women in public office, whereas in Nigeria it's less than 10%, because in Kenya there's an affirmative action law that makes it mandatory that political parties give women candidates the possibility of running for office in proportion to the male candidates. As an African, I'm especially keen to see that minority communities and people from the continent of Africa and from the developing world are also represented in global leadership positions. Women Political Leaders works on this. So in the end, I'd like to ask you, if you're not already working with women political leaders, if you're not already partnering, supporting in some way, join us, because we are working to make the world that you deserve. Thank you.